Hi Stampers, this is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. Welcome to today's live. Today we're making a faux triple step. We've done a faux step card before, a center step, and I think it was oriented, portrait. Now we're going landscape, and it's just a little bit different. So there's going to be different measurements, and we're going to use the Scenic Coast Designer Series paper along with the Relaxing Waterside stamp set from Stampin' Up. As all of you know, I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and that's how I earn my income, is by you guys purchasing Stampin' Up from my store. So I do appreciate all of your support. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we are down on my desk. As I said, this is the bundle we're going to be using, the Relaxing Waterside. And then this is our card. And I'm going to show you exactly how this is done. Okay, so we're going to start out with our supplies. So I have my base pieces. And the base itself, like the main card base here, let's go this way, is 11 inches by 5.5, scored at 1, 2, 3.5, 5, and 8. And then I burnished the score lines, mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain. Okay, then we're going to have another piece that's going to go in the center. So this one is, I guess it would go this way. It's 3 inches by 6.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Then I have two pieces that are 1 inch by 7 inch, scored at 3 1/2. There's going to be one for either side. I've got some designer series paper already cut. These are 3/4 of an inch wide by 3 1/4 tall. Okay, so they will fit right in here with a standard border around them. And it's easier to go ahead and adhere the designer series paper to everything before putting it all together. It needs to go that way because of the way the layers are going to go. Okay, so I'm going to put this large, this is 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. So that's going to be in the back here. And then I have this one here that is 5 1/4 by 1 1/4. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I so appreciate your support. Liking and commenting and all of that is a great way to support me, even if you're unable to buy from my store. And I have loaded a lot of my retired Stampin' Up onto my online store with my tutorials. So if you're looking for something that's no longer available, it's out there. Oh, this one is too wide. This is 1 inch. It needs to be 3/4. Anyway, my retired stuff is listed on my website store with my tutorials, and they're all 50% off. So it's a great deal. So there we go. There's our 3 layers. Ooh. Guess that one needs to come over a little more. So I don't know if you saw the other day, I was using liquid glue and it wasn't attaching here. Like something I did made it bow. And I showed a neat little trick that several of you said you had not seen before. And what I did is I used my Take Your Pick tool. And I added just a teensy bit of glue onto the little spatula. And then I was able to run it underneath here and add a little bit of glue to stick down those areas that didn't stick. Is the designer series paper still unavailable? It was unavailable and they said it was supposed to come back. I thought it was this week. So if it's not back yet, it should be soon. Or either that or it came back and disappeared right away again, because that's one of the things I noted when I was getting ready to do this is I saved this card for this week because I thought that was coming back. And we do have that great new feature on our website now that if you're looking for something that's not currently available, you can give them your email address and they will email you as soon as it becomes available, which is a nice feature we didn't used to have. Okay, this piece in the middle was 2 3/4 by 4. So that's that one. Okay, so far I have these 4 pieces, right? So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it over here on one side. So I'm going to butt it up to the bottom. And this side. So I'm flushing it here and I'm flushing it here. Okay, then I'm going to take the other one. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. I'm flushing it to the bottom and then flushing it to the outside edge. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrunch things up. Okay, and I'm going to bend over and we're going to attach these back here. So note, I'm not going all the way to the back here. I'm just going to the back of the next mountain fold. So it's going to be right in here. So I'm attaching it with the thing closed. Okay, and that's on purpose because I wanted to make sure that it's all going to fold flat. And that's not going to interfere with the score line, which it just did. So I'm going to trim this just a titch. I mean, just the teensiest bit. That's not much at all. And now that's going to fold up. But I wouldn't have wanted to just stick this down here and make sure that it was shy, because then if I closed it and it didn't fold flat, that wouldn't be good either. So by attaching it with it folded flat, that ensures that it's going to go into the envelope. And if we have to make a little adjustment, that's just fine. Nobody's going to know. See, this one's not interfering at all. Okay, so that's going to be the 2 on the outside. Now for this one in the middle, this one I'm going to come back one. So I'm not going to attach it on the front. I'm attaching it in the middle. And I put the 2 outsides there first because this is going to give me a better gauge for how to center this. Because now I don't have to look at the whole width on the sides. I'm looking at just this little bit here and here. So it's easier for me to go ahead and center. But I'm going to go ahead and put some serious adhesive on there because it's going to get some movement. The only time I do a lot of adhesive is if it's really going to get tugged on, because this adhesive is pretty great. It doesn't usually need that much. But I'm not attaching it all the way until I'm pretty happy with how evenly spaced I am between the 2, and then I can go ahead and push harder on it. Okay, so then I'm going to take this back half, I'm going to flatten the entire card, and then this is going to come down here. So I can see that's about 1 inch. So I can easily come through here and give it some adhesive and then close it. Okay, and I did that first before I stuck the back layer on, because now when I put this basic white on there, it's going to hide that seam. The gal I watched do this fold, she had her layer come all the way down to the bottom, but to me that wasn't necessary because this layer is going to cover it up and nobody's going to know that piece is short, and it's going to save you on your supplies. Okay. Then I'm going to take this little piece of paper, which was just a leftover scrap, and I can decide if I want to leave it like that or I think I might do it a little skinnier. So I'm going to do this at probably 3/8 of an inch. And I like that. So I'm going to have this go across the bottom. It's just going to give a little bit of an accent. And that was a scrap piece I wasn't using anyway. So now I've got some extra little pieces that will help coordinate with my card and don't actually require me to cut anything since they were scraps. So again, I'm getting the most out of my materials. And I'm just putting a thin layer of the liquid glue and then setting that down and making sure I am all lined up. And then we're ready to adhere this to the back. Did everybody have a nice Father's Day? What did you do to celebrate? My husband and I got text messages from the kids, you know, how kids are nowadays. So we just went out on our bikes and went for a ride. We got 19.5 miles in. We drove across, or rode across town, did the Snake River Trail, and then we went up to Culver's and had lunch. That's what he decided he wanted for lunch. So it was a really fun day. It was beautiful yesterday. Today it's supposed to be hot again. We're going back into the 90s this week, but over the weekends it was, you know, mid-80s. Okay, now I'm ready to decorate the front, and I've decided I'm just going to do a sentiment, and then I'm going to add that beach chair that I love so much, that Adirondack, and I don't really want to color it today, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stamp and just do a tone on tone. We're going to take our chair, and then I'm going to use pecan pie ink to stamp it onto pecan pie paper. I could stamp it onto white and then color it, but I don't like doing that on camera because I feel it bores you guys. I will be doing some coloring Thursday with the Stampin' Blends because I'm going to be using the Sweet Old Friends. And so I've already colored a couple of them, and then I'm going to come in and show you how I color these two, and then we'll put our card together. But that's going to be on Thursday, so we don't need to color twice in 1 week. I do love coloring with the blends. I just don't like to do it on camera. I feel like it's time where I feel like I need to talk because I'm not doing anything, and then I just spew, which I don't like doing. Okay, so now I need to die cut this. So I'm going to bring out the coordinating die. And then I'm going to go ahead and die cut that. It's warping a little bit from being used a lot. And so it's kind of bending upward. So I'm very gently giving it a little bit of a bend back into shape. I don't want to push it too hard, but I do want to try to straighten it out a little. Okay, and then if it's still moving, if it's not going exactly where I want or it's not holding its place, then I would go ahead and use a little bit of washi tape or a Post-it note and hold that in place. I've also been known to use the wall safe tape. Let's see. Actually, I don't know where I threw it. Okay, so I'm going to come in with a Post-it note, and I'm just going to center this where I want it. And then I'm going to use the sticky side, and I'm going to have some on the outside of the die and some on the inside. And then because I'm using the mini, I'm going to go ahead and fold that over so we are within the 3-inch opening. And then I'm going to make my sandwich. Okay, so there is our chair. And then I'm going to use the sentiment, today is your day. And I'm going to do that in Blueberry Bushel because that's the color of my card base. I'm lining it up on my grid, lining the block with my grid. Oh, and we're going to make the sand. So hang on for a second because I have a neat trick with the sand as well. Because at first I just put it down there and it looked like the chair was sitting in the water, and I thought, well, that's not right. A chair wouldn't normally sit in the water, especially a wood one like that. So I did a strip of sand. Okay, now I need to decide which end I want my flag on, and I want that on the side that says day. So I'm going to go in this way. And then I'm going to straighten it out in here. I didn't worry about stamping straight on my paper, or I would have aligned it with the grid as well, because I can straighten it out once it's in the punch. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and attach this. I think I'll use some mini dimensionals. I see someone saying they were having trouble getting onto the video. I'm sorry about that. It always starts at 2:30 on Mondays and Thursdays. And I've been trying to schedule them ahead of time so that you can hit the little reminder button. There's a bell on the scheduled video, and it will supposedly notify you when I go live. And Thursday's video is already scheduled, so you should be able to hit that bell now. Okay, so I'm putting that right there. And then, like I said, we're going to make some sand for down across the bottom. And I'm going to do that by bringing in just a piece of crumb cake. It's 5.5 inches. And I didn't cut it to size. I think you could do this easily with maybe 1 1/4, 1.5, and tearing down the middle. But basically what I want to do is tear away from me, and then I'm kind of going up and down. I'm going uneven because obviously the sand wouldn't be exactly even, and getting a strip. Okay, so this will be able to go across the bottom and still show my water, but it's still a little bit on the boring side. So I'm going to come in with some crumb cake ink, and we're going to jazz this up a little bit. On the edge, we're going to use the sponge, and I'm going to do the edge. Now you could also use the blending brushes, you could use sponge daubers, anything just to give this edge a little bit of definition. And you'll notice I'm not doing the bottom part because I'm going to do something different over there. For the bottom part, I'm going to move this out of my way, and I'm going to bring in some scrap paper. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Blends with the brush tip end. Now you want to kind of be careful. You don't want to ruin your tips, but I'm just going to drag it along the inside of the cap towards my project. And I'm not pushing real hard. I'm just dragging it along and flicking it into my project. And that's giving me little splotches. And I'm going to do that with the light pecan pie as well. And they will lighten over time. This one's not got much ink in it. Okay, let's try the darker one. There we go. Now that's working. Okay. And there we go. There is our, looks more like sand now, right? Because it's got all the little speckles in it. And because it is an alcohol ink, it's going to lighten up a little bit as it dries. But I'm okay now to put that onto my project. So we're going to give it a little bit of adhesive. Come on. And then we're going to set this along the bottom. And then I'm going to grab that chair. And see, doesn't that look so much more natural sitting in the sand instead of floating in the water? Okay, so I know that this bottom leg, this back piece, and this side of the chair is going to touch the project. Okay, this part back here is not, so I don't want any adhesive over in here because that's going to be hovering in my card. So I'm going to put those glue dots over on the edges where I know that they're going to hit the cardstock. Okay, and if it's a little big, I'm just going to use my finger to roll the edge of that back. And there we go. There is our project for today. Now, if you chose not to put it on the back here, I mean, you could leave that there. Also, the girl I watched it from, I can't remember her name, but she had put her message inside the card. So you opened it up and her signature and everything was going to be here. It would be the same size and everything, just I used it to cover up the seam on the back. And my thought is if it's going to stand up for display, I mean, it worked that way. So that's our card for today. I used 2 different sunsets here, so you can see they're both beautiful. They do have that kind of clear gloss on them that makes the sunrise just, or the sunset, just kind of sparkle on the page. Thursday, I'd like you to come back as we work with the Sweet Old Friends bundle, and we're going to make this stadium arena card. This was something that one of the trip winners, Val something from overseas, gave as his, darn it, I just dropped a word, as his exchange. Like they trade cards when they're on those trips. And he made a whole bunch of these and handed them out to other demonstrators in exchange for them giving him different swaps. It wasn't this bundle or this suite. It was a different setup altogether, but the fold itself is one I had not seen before. So I had to give it a try. We needed a few more for book 5. So there we go. That's what we'll use for Thursday. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Want me to clarify anything I did today? I want to go back and make sure there's no questions. Susan said she uses the email feature. It works great. Yes, I'm very excited they added that. Okay, so that's all I have for today. I look forward to seeing you again on Thursday. Thank you so much. Bye.